So, ladies and gentlemen, the people, everyone in everywhere. I could say South Africa, but unfortunately, right now we are just starting to become like globally. So, people from like New Zealand, I see you. UK, I see you. And USA, I see you too. But last but not least, Kenya, I see you guys, and thank you for that. My name is IroC, and welcome to the IroC podcast. So things are about to change again. Usually, I ask my guest to say, "Yo, what is this? What is that? What do you think about that?" But this year, we're gonna do things differently. We're gonna talk more about them. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we can start, and I introduce the two gentlemen with me, welcome to the IroC podcast, and this is the intellectual relations of consciousness. So, today, I have my two brothers, two great activists. Ebase Tembisa. Bazongitshela ukuthi bafike kanjani where they are. But we'll start with Sfiso here. Sfiso Skosana. I won't say the AKA, but if you know the AKA, you know who this guy is. And then I have Andile Mlambo, both from Tembisa. So, I'll start with me, since I haven't been like in front of the camera this year. So I'll start with me and just to show you how we'll be doing it this year, like the introduction basically. But how can I put this? It is against all odds. That's the theme for this year. So it's against all odds. So if I'm introducing myself, I'll say, hi, my name is IroC. Against all odds, I managed to be here against all odds. It has been a very tough journey for me to like start recording since April, whereas I could have started in January. So against all odds, the IroC podcast is back, and this is the 10th episode of it. And yeah, against all odds, we just reached 300 subscribers. Against all odds, we are above 3,000 views on YouTube. TikTok guys. So yeah, against all odds, Sfiso.
Okay. Thanks, IroC, for this opportunity. Against all odds, my name is IroC has alluded. I'm Sfiso Skosana. I'm based in Tembisa, born and raised in Tembisa. Yeah. And then against all odds, I'm glad to be here. The first episode of this year.
Yeah.
The 10th episode of this IroC podcast.
What?
Yeah. Generally, I'm an environmental activist.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm happy to be here and I'm honored to form part of this auspicious podcast.
I love to lay better slow, Joe. I love to lay better slow. You know, I'm an activist, even. Or who is?
I don't know, I wouldn't speak for him, but
yeah. Otherwise, just tell the viewers who you are against all odds.
First and foremost, congratulations on your podcast. And 300 subscribers.
Yeah.
305, I think. I checked. Yeah, congratulations. And
yeah,
I'm part of the subscribers, by the way. Yeah, so I follow your work. It's just, it's amazing.
We know you in my comment section.
I have to comrade. I have to comment. You're my brother. Yeah. So we need to show brotherly love, support each other. That's where it starts.
Sure.
Yeah. So Ikama, Andile, you already said that. I'm also an activist in environmental space and social activist as well. So from Tembisa and Sfiso. So at Tembisa we have this thing, because some of your crew members must Tembisa now. So big up to Tembisa.
Yeah, by the way, guys, some the crew, guys. Like God has been great. Some the crew.
Against all odds.
Against all odds. Against all odds. And I appreciate you guys. One time. So you're saying?
Yeah, so at Tembisa, that's how we speak, because there's a saying, they prepare you for the world.
Okay.
So it's to communicate and then so we can send our message be clear out there when we do advocacy work and in our environmental space. Yeah.
So nikhulele phi nini Tembisa and nihlangane kanjani?
Asama twins,
No, I mean because it's two guys who are doing something absolutely phenomenal, especially within the environmental justice and climate change advocacy, right? One thing I've realized is that it's very difficult and it's kind of a taboo conversation to have when in the township. When these two things, like, we don't belong unless you're talking about something like gender-based violence that it's easier for people in the township to relate. So that's why I'm asking you, where in Tembisa did you guys grow up and how did you end up becoming environmental activists?
Okay, let me just say this, IroC. Against all odds. Against all odds. Yeah. From my side, I grew up in Tembisa. Tembisa is the biggest township.
Yeah.
I think it's the second largest, biggest township in South Africa, if I'm not mistaken. So we grew up in a section called Libueng.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the small section in Tembisa, it's in Libueng. This exposure of being an activist in the environmental space, it came about when, I worked for a financial institution for 9 years. So by 2019, I resigned.
Umdala, Joe.
No, I started working at an LH. At an LH. So, 2019, I resigned. I think it was around about June.
Yeah.
And then I went back to the streets, started to put myself together, understand?
Okay.
So, this zeal of being an environmental activist came up around when my comrade next to me, Andile Mlambo, came to where I stay in a ward.
Okay.
They wanted a venue to do a workshop. He was with some of the guys by the name of Samuel Mashimbe.
Okay.
So they needed a space. So since I was working closer with the community, and then I had access to the venue. So when he came, gave them the venue, and they did a workshop. They spoke about renewable energies, climate justice.
Okay.
So I was sitting at the front there. So Andy was part of the presenters there.
So you actually introduced him to the environmental space. Do you remember the day? Do you remember the
No,
day?
he was telling me, but for me the thing is, activism. It's called active citizenship. So
Yeah.
I think he was an active citizen.
Yes, exactly.
That's why he came to that workshop that we were
Yeah,
hosting.
yeah,
He's been an active member in the community.
Because he only
Yeah,
told
yeah. So
yeah.
it's very important to say that
Sure.
it was not me who introduced him
Yeah.
to it. He was already in the space. Maybe we can say in an organized form where there's organized groups. Then we came in that in that form.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's when he came part, and then we took it forward.
How long was this?
It's been a while. Because, something funny is that both of us, now I come from the financial sector. So I come now from investment banking. So I wasn't in the banking sector. So we both come from banking.
Yeah.
So in the commercial banking, me, investment banking. And then by the time when I left, we're transitioning to also commercial banking. So when I left, so we come from the space, imagine. And then when we started, angibuzanga manje ukuthi ngicale kanjani yabona ngoba siphume eThembisa yabona siphatha
No, angisho phela manje sasekule case yaka Sfiso yabona. Saseku case yaka Sfiso.
Yes,
But
sure.
since then, yabona, you can simply just
ngikhulele eThembisa. I was born, raised there.
yeah.
Gaspati Icubeni, first township as a Tembisa. Yes. It was the first one.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was built for migrant laborers, when the labor movement was starting.
So they were going to work.
They were going to stay there because bukune lokishi bathi emqanza
Okay.
eKaslami kunama factory. So they built ama factory, so they
Yeah.
needed indawo yokuhlala. So the first kasi kula ngihlala khona ke. So when my grandfather they moved from and my grandmother from KZN and Mpumalanga, bamuvela eCubeni for my grandfather to work, and then wavele time ala. Last time alam. So I told you already now that I happened,
Okay.
Yeah, I happened. And I grew up in that space. Yeah. And then activism actually, this thing started school.
Okay.
Yeah, where ngisakhula bebathanda ukuthi I'm a communist. Communist ideas, because I'll speak up for everyone. I'll speak up for the
Okay.
rights of others. Yeah,
Okay.
I was never that person. I was always selfless.
Oh.
Yeah, so in pursuit for justice of mara ungazi It's just in you, something okhula nayo endlini because masikhula nje ngitshela ecubeni was a family dlala. Yacaba family dlala. Ngibabhaya.
Babaya abanye balala dining room.
And bokunature ebhaya ekhaya
Pachisi.
still is. Yabo nature
Okay.
ebhaya. So more you out no matter how young. Should wena you come second. You must look out for your sisters, whether
Sure.
younger sister, older sister. Yeah, nebona lo mdala, mabazomcheck uvana nawo. Yacaba ngle.
Okay.
Woman little brother uvana.
Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that. Oh, wait. Okay, bahamba nami.
Wow.
Hi, Pixis.
Yeah.
So and then from there, can we safely say charity began at home?
For me, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
And who played like a huge role in you becoming an activist and coming to now recruiting Sfiso? Who played a huge role in you?
From Edladlin or
Yeah,
when
from Edladlin.
Temalam, people was cool, ne?
Okay.
So he was
He was a big guy.
so he was
yeah.
a factory worker for a long time.
Sure.
Yeah, so really I supervised for the longest time. So yeah, this was cool. We were paid to that. So he grew up also now when people are looking for jobs, they'll speak to him.
Oh.
Is that person manje noma kunama domestic issues.
Okay.
That person they'll call yeah, still uzosilamulela, or maybe there's domestic violence. He'll be that guy because he was a tough guy.
Hey, sure guys. The time we hung.
Eh?
We
It
hung.
was cool.
It's
It's
cool.
cool, yeah.
It's
The
cool.
guy is cool. Yeah, I'm quite Spanish. Not besimqwa vele, mara beka
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of people used to come to the house.
Sure.
I need the help and everything. So it starts there because angithi uba hero yakho is the second best person mangombona ukuthi
Yeah.
I want to be like that guy. Yabona, because he was not feared but respected.
Yeah.
So that's why Nama respect people, everyone. I
Sure.
learned that from him. ukuthi No matter how much power you think we have over them
Okay.
or influence, but respect people. So he was very respectable until I learned that from him.
Yeah.
And I think from primary, then that thing, yabonisa, ne? Then back elected for SRC as a primary.
Yeah.
Those small roles.
RCL.
RCL, yabon. Angithi RCL, SRC,
Yeah,
that
SRC,
time,
yeah.
then high school. Then manje iba more, where now they elect you without you, they nominate you and elect you. Because of those
And in
principles.
primary, it was teachers who
It was
see
teachers
the
who
potential.
see, yeah, I wanna
Yeah,
know.
because but basically you had to be like a good boy or a good girl of some sort.
Da mina ngithi sigela bengithi lo akadla abanye abantwana abangadlanga. Babona la
Oh.
English. Yeah, ngeke gawule. Mabangashaya umntwana yiyo le, or if umntwana uyagula, we send him. He'll get the
Okay.
job done, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay.
So it was those things. And
And then in high school, then your peers start to elect you.
yeah, back nominate.
Yeah.
They nominated me and then we're part of that. And then it grows from there, It grew from there.
Okay.
Because must be nominated by your peers, especially. It's because siyakhuluma ngayo yabona njengosfiso siyarela.
Sure.
We talk about it. I think you can do it. Why? Then bayakutshela and then you're like, okay, let me work on it. Let me build on
Yeah.
it. Maybe there's something here. Yabona. Then mayifike tertiary here. Kula manje ngisho now is so organized to a form where there's resources for you to push your activism,
yeah.
SRC, yeah.
So Sfiso, has it been the same for you? Like Uguti, now we're from Eski, like they were like, like yeah, phambili chief Sithembe wena sibathumela ngawo. Were you the frontline guy?
Yeah, but let me just say, as Andile was saying, already when we met, I was already an activist.
Sure.
In the township, like in a community where I used to stay.
So you were like a community. Is it safe to say you were a community activist?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but now not primary school level, high school level. So when I was exposed to this thing of social injustices, ne? But
Okay.
not specifically in the environmental space. Then I went to varsity. I was also part of the SRC at school and so forth. So in the township, when they saw the potential, allow me to say it, when they elect the council, there's a committee that works with the council in the ward.
Yeah.
So I was part of the people who were nominated and elected to work with the ward council in the ward.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and then I'm chairing the youth sector in this committee, where I take care of the needs of the entire youth in the entire ward.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They usually call that person according to how Mina and you can correct me.
Yeah.
Don't they say that's a junior council or something like that.
Yeah, we could put it like that, but now there's a beautiful way that they are doing it. They call it the World Committee because you were just under the council.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a junior council because I chair his meetings most of the time.
Sure.
Yeah, I still do that even now.
Yeah.
So, and then this exposure, when Andile came to the what?
Sure.
As I was saying, that he came and then he was part of the presenters there. I said, this guy is, what is he saying? What is just transition? What is renewable energies? What is climate change?
Nami ngifuna ukuya lapho basically to say, gents, nifika kanjani into a space where
Yes.
in a township we start talking about this ambiguous big words
Yes,
like
yes.
lama bombastic.
Yes.
Yeah, the usual term bombastic words. How do you come and say climate, energy, just transition, energy crisis? What's the structure, gents? What's the formula?
Let me just say this.
Yeah.
This
Okay,
thing-
as Sunday making it.
Yeah. This,
Sure.
this thing of climate injustice or environmental injustice,
Sure.
it affects everyone, but not everyone is aware.
Okay.
So the likes of Andile Mlambo and the team that came, so
Yeah.
they just brought educational awareness to the township, to the people, to raise eyebrows to say, this is happening around you. And then we are not even aware that it's happening and it's wrong. You understand? And there's a struggle that needs to be fought. You understand?
Sure.
So I think Andile will add on this. But as soon as he did those things to do those
Sure.
awarenesses, the zeal in me arose. I was zealous and passionate to learn more.
Oh,
So I traveled with him wherever he goes.
okay.
Yeah, and then what happened also after coming to the workshops to my team when I get back to the township,
Yeah, community.
I was sharing the
education.
information.
Yeah,
I was sharing
yeah.
the information. So this thing became my lifestyle, became a daily bread. You understand? But Anil, I think maybe will add with how did he come up with this
Sure.
concept of climate justice within the township and Tembisa, of course.
Yeah.
You understand? Because I don't think everyone stood up with these things.
And then probably you can also like maybe give like other people like a how can I put it? You can give them a formula. Yabona ukuthi wena Thembisa uyenze kanjani, so someone in Alex ofuna ukuyenza uqala kanjani eGomora, someone osemsotra yabona uqala kanjani emsotra iSoweto jo. Come on, yawukena lama township yabona. How did you build that concept yabona? Because this is like a global thing, right? When we're talking about climate change, we're talking about like on an international level. We're looking at from the policies of EU and Conference of the Parties. How do you break it down from there down to the community level so that each and every like person in the community can understand it?
You know, so that English as Panangajan, Shutmanje, it's not me by myself
Sure.
who does this. Mara, I don't like to, I don't want to sound condescending. Is it condescending to people undermine our basekas utabaz? Because
Sure.
you find that our basekas, they do know.
They do.
Just as it's the jargon that
Yeah.
we're using, it's the language, it's the technicality of the language.
Sure.
Climate change, climate justice, and
I think
etc.,
also
yeah,
the information, how it gets there.
I think this is my opinion, and
Okay.
this is what I found out. My consultation when we started, before we really
Sure.
is that abantu they are aware, because for instance, my grandmother, there used to be a community farm. So this issues as community farm. Mangaya ngeskel, makoko muva namda. You see, so community will bafika lapha kuyatshalwa, vegetation
Wow.
and stuff, ne? And those women, they were amazing because they understood how the soil works, tshalwa nini, all those processes. This is the season ukutshala into so
That's
you
environmental
understand?
education.
And not in that language,
Sure.
but bebana, that's called indigenous language, indigenously, because
Yeah.
as I told you,
Yeah.
they migrated to Gauteng for work as migrant laborers from KZN and
Mpumalanga.
Mpumalanga. So banalo information la about the soil, ukutshalwa ini nini kanjani. That time bongana SAPC News to check your weather.
Yeah.
They knew about if there's this signs,
Yeah.
then it means the weather's going to be like this. It's not good to do this and do that. So already people know now organically, because you grow up, you remember you are part of your family,
Sure.
ancestry, how it goes.
Yeah.
It flows in your blood. You understand this issue. So even yakhumbula sakhula bathi check umoya kanjani. Wenza kanje.
Yeah.
You understand?
Ngi-2000 angiyazi yabona ke le part. Hayi ngikeni.
Yeah, but all those things. So people,
Yeah.
that's what we call indigenous language, indigenous knowledge.
Kumele ningifundise le.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will.
So people knew. So just to go back to Ntobeka. So when I started, I think the first was
Yeah.
a social justice movement, working with the organization, but a visually impaired community development organization. I was working with a group in 2013.
Okay.
It's really housing for people with disabilities.
Yeah.
That's where it started, get Iba active. 'Cause
I saw an article somewhere around that.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's where my active coming to the fast-paced level, where you have to now engage with diplomatics, because we're fighting for housing, proper, decent housing for people with disabilities.
Yeah.
And then we fought that fight, and it went well. It went to courts, and I'm part of this, ne? And I'm working with visually impaired people. So I was their eye, so I was put in the front line.
Oh man.
Yeah, from both sides, because remember, if usebenza nabantu abakhubazekile abangaboni,
Yeah.
some people in the community they might think, uthatha advantage.
Sure.
Yabona uropala abantu. And then there'll be people now whispering to their ears to say, hey, mara lena ngathi
Yeah, yanshasha.
yabona, yeah, ngathi yanshasha, all those things. So now you are in an enemy line in some sense. So we started there. That's where it started. And then, we got the court just granted 73
Oh,
flats
nice.
for people with disabilities.
Nice.
Yeah. That was 2014, 15, 16. Because we started 2013.
13.
So it was bad, up and down, some of my court, and then that fort came. And then there's a bigger center, Tembisa. But it's Tembisa self-help for the disabled, T-shirt.
T-shirt, yes.
So T-shirt, they were going through maladministration.
Okay.
So they called us up, they called me up to come
Cheers,
in
sir.
and just to come resuscitate the place.
Nice.
It's a big place. There, that's where we had the voice of Tembisa in the same yard
Same
and
yard, yeah.
everything. So they called us up. And then while we were doing there, that's when we introduced that indigenous knowledge about renewable energy and stuff. Because when we got there, it was a mess. And then that's when now, Masen's research, we find out. And that research was not a desktop research. From Ramadan Tabatal, no, you know what, we can use solar
Sure.
this way.
Yeah.
Let's do a gardening to sustain. Remember, it's self-help.
Yeah.
Ne?
Yeah.
Yeah, so people must help themselves. So now, how do you sustain the place, have food, take care of the people,
Sure.
get the place running, besides collecting rent.
Sure.
So we're there, and then these ideas, they came about where now we became, I'm an advocate for renewable energy because that's what we wanted. Now we are knocking to Umnyango Masipala manje with people who are
Yeah.
with special needs. And manje phambili nami. But manje le ntwana lena at the
Phambili
time
ngeke
manje
wona.
wena ngoba ngathi uyabona or awuboni. And I'm gonna when masiya phambili ngizokutshela RNR, you know RNR when they took when they were booking a flight, they thought I was disabled. So so they were sending okay, in your flight, do you need because a lot of my activism comes from
Has
there.
been
Yes,
from
you know what I
that.
mean?
Yeah.
I'm championing that space. You know?
Sure.
So as we were fighting that, I'll always hang around a VOT, Voice of Tembisa, because we'll be there, hosting, we're doing events. We have our own Ama Guardians. They're still there. If you've been to T-shirt,
yes,
we
yeah,
still have Ama Guardians, run by people with special needs.
Yeah.
We have recycling. We have now there's a podcast just launched now,
Nice.
but it's run entirely by we are just support.
Oh yeah.
Our support. So while I was there, that's where I met at Life. So they were coming to do an interview.
Oh yeah, at Life, the previous episode 9, I was with Thabo Silego
yes,
from
yeah.
Davidson. Yeah, he's part of At Life. So yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, so that's when they were having an interview.
Okay.
Yeah, at IVOT, and I happened to be around. Yeah, but so Usbongile. Yeah,
Oh,
so
Mam
she came.
Sibongile.
Yeah, Sibongile.
Yeah, Msibonge.
Yeah, Sibongile.
Mina ngisumama,
yeah,
ngimubaba,
sis.
but iyathanda ukuthi usisi.
Ngimusisi kumama.
Yeah.
So yeah, bekamele abe ne-interview there.
Sure.
And I was at the radio station. I was just hanging around there. And then
Yeah.
she came and then makabona vele how organized we were. And so it was a Saturday, ngiyakhumbula. So during the week, the team would come, people with special needs,
Sure.
they would do everything. And
Yeah.
when she came, Niwan that time. So makafika, she's checking out our garden, yabo. We have a proper one, yabo, horticulture, we have everything. Everything is running. Yabo.
Yeah,
Planting
yeah,
trees,
yeah.
food, everything is running. Like, hey, dude, what's going on? And then she thought I was very articulate about the environment.
Oh, because of like how
Because we were already
everything-
doing it.
Yeah, but
But
it's
we were
just
not
that
using the diplomatic language.
Yeah, sure.
But we were already doing it. We're doing it every day, Monday to Saturday. I'm
What-
there.
what year was this?
Sundays. It's expose the age. Ne? So, Nkubeka, and then they were having a workshop.
Is it before 2015 or after 2015?
So they were having a workshop. Angathi manje ngifuna ukuzikunda Sfiso.
Yeah.
They were having a workshop
Okay.
on a Tuesday, and we were to mobilize the people to come in the space. So when we mobilized, we got people, Sabayisa on their workshop. Now, but they were equally surprised with the people who were articulate. They understand these issues. It's always been an issue of language.
Sure.
What language is used to communicate with which people.
Yeah.
Remember, in a country, too, you know, we are so diverse.
Yeah.
We have rural sides, we have informal sectors, we have townships, suburbs, the city.
Then we
It's
still have different
people.
tribes. Also.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then their education,
It's different
it's
too.
different, you understand?
Sure.
Yeah, so all those things, they speak to you. Okay, mawukhuluma nomuntu ofunda,
Yeah.
in a private school, I'm sure they understand these issues. They learn them from school.
Yeah.
But mawuzokhuluma nomntana wasekhaya, ne? While now they have to battle indaba poverty, they have to battle indaba ukuthi ngiyodlani ngelunch. You understand? They know
Yeah.
how to grow their own food, but I don't
They
think necessarily
don't
they'll
have,
be
like,
using
the
that
community,
language
yeah,
or
yeah.
to come. Yeah, man. So
Yeah.
it was one of those issues. And then so when they invited us to come join them, and then we started, because at Life is nama forum, nama organization.
Sure.
Abasebenzi with individuals. You have to be part of an organization
For you to
to be
like,
part of them. Yeah, so they
Okay.
don't take an individual and train you in school. You say, no, they take already existing grassroots organization in the movement, and then they capacitate you with
Okay.
knowledge to say, this is the diplomatic language used. Let's break it down back to our constituencies. Let's
Okay.
let our people know what is discussed about us. When?
I don't know.
No, this one is mine. Unfortunately. Sorry. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, so that's how we started to say, now they invited us to an organized structure.
Yeah.
Okay, this is how now we must move. You guys are moving in the right direction, Mara. The conversations are done in this format.
Okay.
So you must be, for you to be in line with what's happening.
Yeah.
This is the language. So they give us the climate diction. This
Okay.
is how people speak. And then we caught up. And then subsequent, that's when it came, Sfiso, because this movement is happening now. You know, we're having workshops
Sure.
on the ground, but more than a workshop, you need the people who are already involved.
Sure.
There's not no more one yet. So we need community leaders.
So
to
that's how he
mobilize.
comes
Yes,
in,
community
because he was
leaders
already like busy within the community.
leading the
Yes.
movement in the community. So
Yeah.
if now you want to conscientize people about what they already know, but
Yeah.
what is the modern language, then that's why we.
That's how he
met-
comes
Yeah,
in.
that's why I met him.
Yeah, we were
Yeah,
before they banned the municipality offices.
Yeah.
I think I've been to Rabasotu.
Yeah.
Rabasotu. I've been there.
Yeah.
With other activists in Tembisa.
It's okay.
Yeah, there was something called Gauteng Young Vision by I think it's Elias Bego. But anyway, I want us to talk now about like the education side, right? To say how do we do this thing of like educating people about different things? I mean, right now, both of you come from Rights and Remedies, right? You know, we're part of like the discussions that were happening there, you know. So to someone who doesn't even know what is Rights and Remedies, before we get to that, what is the education and how do you bring about the education part of it? To say this is environmental justice, this is climate justice, this is climate change, this is like energy crisis, and also being that like we have like other organizations and structures that are formed, like for example the Presidential
Climate Commission.
Climate Commission.
Yeah.
No, and I know that both of you all were there too. Yabona nginibonile somewhere. Yabona. So also being that, right, that there was also like there's the PCC, right? How do you then educate people, right, about that? How do you make sure that the information from the top goes back to the grassroots, and also not just people who are part of like different organizations, right? But people who are not even part of any organization, but they need to know about this.
Okay, I think let me just say this now.
Sure.
As Andile was just saying that there's this organization
yeah.
called Life Africa,
Sure.
where they just make, it's a forum, né? They have a forum where we get into one place, but different organizations from the grassroots levels.
Okay.
Then they give us information. And part of the task that we need to do is the information that we are receiving. We meet on a monthly basis.
Okay.
There's what we call Climate Justice Action Group. We meet on a monthly basis. The information that we have taken from there,
Yeah.
we must just deposit it back to our constituencies in the communities through workshops, through meetings and so forth. So that's the educational part of it, because if you have information, you must not be selfish with it.
Sure.
So we do workshops. It's an ongoing basis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of the Presidential Climate Commission, that thing, the information is online. It's there. You can get it. It's online.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since as I was saying, I work with young people where I come from.
Sure.
That's my sphere of influence.
Yeah.
I work with young people. So what I do, I have monthly meetings with them. They spread information. I do workshops as well. I invite people to come and so I take a back seat.
And
But
do
people,
workshops.
Yes.
Like.
Yeah.
Okay. And is the workshop that you're talking about the same like the one you were recruited in?
Stop saying recruited.
Okay, not recruited, but
Maybe how we met.
That's
Okay.
how we met.
Yeah, how we met.
Initially, Andy did not recruit me to say, come. I was zealous, as I was saying.
Yeah.
The passion arose within me, so to say that let me just sit back and just listen, and then I was interested. And then I was converted, or automatically I was converted to become an environmental activist.
Okay.
Just like that.
Okay.
And it was easy for him because actually he was already involved in social injustices. He was championing that cause,
Sure.
like he said. So that's why you know, game recognizes game. If you have game, I see you.
yeah,
So
yeah,
say,
yeah.
"Abonan,
Yeah.
time."
But he magnet, like
Magnet,
in a way.
yabo. Yeah.
So we got along with
It's
Andy.
easy to say.
Yeah. So the workshop that I run, they are just similar to what Andy was doing, because we don't discuss only the environmental issues, but which is it's a burning issue. You understand? We have in South Africa we have a sketch of the electricity, so we cannot shy away from the fact that we have a crisis of electricity. So we speak about the renewable energies, the solution that are there in place.
I like the way Bianca It says we have a problem in electricity. So is it an electricity crisis or an energy crisis? Let's just put it out there.
Okay, it's an energy crisis. Let me just put it correct. It's an energy crisis. It's an energy crisis.
Do you also think, Andy Lugutu, we have like an energy crisis?
Yeah, as a
Problem.
country, we have energy poverty. That's the main issue that we are facing. So, correctly as you're saying, so it is one of the elements of the issue we're having because of the energy poverty.
Yeah.
The energy has to be produced, but how is it produced? That's the problem that we're having. That is causing what we call now climate change.
Yes.
So it starts there. Remember, there has to be a problem that leads to what we're having now. Yeah.
So I want us to now let's move to this t-shirts you guys are wearing, Rights and Remedies, right? We were supposed maybe to do people who've watched, they know we do nominate your community hero, ne?
Yeah.
Let's skip that part.
Okay.
Let's talk about Rights and Remedies, gents. What is R&R? Nithole kanjani le mpahla? Nifike kanjani ku R&R?
Mdala kimi ku-arena. Ungene eqala.
Yeah. Okay. You know this saying, it's an iron sharpen an iron.
Sure.
Okay. As
Game recognizes game.
Yeah.
precisely.
Sure.
So as I continue to become an activist, and then I came across, I was just perusing on my desktop, and I came across this organization, the Center for Environmental So I went through that, and then in fact, I was just looking for the programs which they are having.
Okay.
So I came, it was 2002. So
Yeah.
I came across this, there's a cohort. I read through the cohort. The cohort spoke about that they just want to participate, the activists and train the activists,
Okay.
specifically from grassroots levels. So I did the application there to say, yeah. So the first question was that, how are you involved in climate justice and environmental justice
Sure.
in your community? That was the first question. So I answered, I said, before you become an activist, you must be a victim first. If you see injustices around you and then you don't feel okay with it, then you are an activist.
Yeah.
Then you're an activist. That's how I answered the question. And then I spoke that this is what I do in the
Sure.
community, this is what I do in the community.
Yeah.
As a result, I phoned Andile, in fact, to say, Andile, hey, this thing, man.
Nah, you Center for Environmental Rights.
Yeah, well, so I did that application and say, I think after 3 weeks after the application, I got a call from the administrator. It was Tammy.
Okay.
Tammy phoned me and said, Chief, we've looked at your application, and we were impressed.
Yeah.
Then Danny, it's part of the admin staff there. Danny sent me an email to say, this is what we need from you and so forth.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, that's how it happened. And I was part of the cohort. I was elected from, I think from Gauteng was only me, ne? Yeah, it was 2002. From Gauteng it was only me.
Oh, 2002.
2022, sorry. 2022. Sorry.
Yo.
Yo, it was 2022. Yeah.
So 2022,
Yeah.
Center for Environmental Rights.
Yes.
You see on you're just reading and you see there is a cohort
Yes.
and then you apply. And then what happens then?
Okay, after we've been approved, and then you.
Sure.
Yeah, the center is based in Cape Town.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a 3 weeks program. So when I got there, I went to Cape Town. When I got there, firstly, let me just say the reception was very good when we got to Cape Town.
Nice.
And then there's one philosopher who used to say, the greatest wisdom is to know that you know nothing. You know, when you go to a training, to say, I'm an activist, I know these things,
You had to ferment. Great.
When you get there, Chief, hey, things are different. Things are different. I got there, the first, I think, tuition that we got there, it was done by Larato. Larato Baldaman spoke about communication in depth. So as an activist, they told us how to communicate.
Yeah.
We don't just communicate as you please.
Oh,
They
wow.
spoke about communication. Equally, when you get there, but the school is about the attorneys, because they
Okay.
deal most of the time with the laws that has to do with the environment. So they write articles, they go to court.
Hence Center for Environmental
yeah.
Rights.
So they teach you about also human rights in general, what is human
Okay.
rights and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you got there, and they also delve much on the Section 24.
Yeah.
Section Bill of Rights, Section 24
Yeah.
speaks about the environmental rights. Then they spoke about National Environmental Management Act 107 of 1998.
Sure.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what the school is all about, to empower you with the laws that speaks directly to the environment.
Environment.
Yeah, because remember, when you're an activist, you will encounter problems, and then if you see injustices, people who are deviating from the laws of the country in our constitution, so you must be able to be empowered to say, but this section speaks about this, but we're not doing it. For instance, the emissions of fossil fuels.
Sure.
If you check the climate change bill, you understand that there was a proposed penalty and a reduced emissions. And I think it's part of the agreements when you attend your conference of the people.
Yeah.
These countries.
Conference of the Parties.
Of the parties, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, conference of the parties. They always commit to reduce these emissions. But when you go in depth with the National Environmental Management Act, it will give you provisions to say you're not doing according to what the law says. So as an activist, you are empowered to say, you can write and report and say this is the report sort of discovered. So the school empowers you to do that. So mainly they just speak about the laws that governs the environment space.
Now, Andile, and then was it through the call Sfiso that now you were like, okay, like let me also go, or do you have like a different story?
The 2002, ne?
2022.
2022.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a nice one. So because as in the same space, in the same sector,
Sure.
we're having these conversations from time to time. So I remember we were having a workshop. I was hosting a workshop in disability
Okay.
environment. So it was a popular workshop supported by Life Africa. So he came to support me because he really supported with logistics. He really
Siyabonga.
supported. Yeah. Thank you. Ngingakubonga, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ngehake kuphela. You're still on me.
So we had that conversation because
Yeah.
it was open for everyone. He applied. I couldn't apply that year, unfortunately. And then
Okay.
the following year, so while I was there, a lot of the comrades, the 7s and up in the environmental space in other provinces, or Limpopo, which I'm part of, I'm a forum now.
Yeah.
Limpopo, Gqeberha, yabona. They went. So we were like, bang pelela, basa Cape Town pelela, bang phonela, but hey,
Sekapa lo tu.
yeah, man, sine awutaka se Tembisa la.
Sure, shota we.
Because he was the only one
Yeah.
from Gauteng at the time.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's where it started, and I was like, okay, I committed to apply the next year, which is 2003.
2023.
2023. Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah.
2023, then I applied, and then they also invited me.
Okay.
It's an opportunity, of course. Yeah, but I can't take for granted.
Yes.
They could have given it to anybody else, but
Sure.
from Gauteng we were two of us. This other lady,
Okay.
and then
Do you
we went-
remember her?
Of course, man. Because we work with her. So
Okay.
this space is a small space because we are doing the same work. Yeah, man.
I've
As
noticed.
activists. Yeah, so
I've noticed.
it's a meet from time to
Time to
time.
time, yeah.
And everything in forums, we bump into each other in Zoom calls, whatever. So so I was invited with this lady. We participated. So Sfiso Skosana, Center for Environmental Rights. It's an organization of attorneys. So it's
Okay.
lawyers representing marginalized communities, against fossil fuel companies who are big. The mining sector,
Yeah.
where they're extracting those communities who are affected by mining. Like in
Yeah.
Mpumalanga, when they have cases of pollution,
I felt this.
water, they
Yeah,
represent those communities. In Gauteng, we're a high-felt area because of pollution.
Pollution,
Remember
air
Gauteng,
pollution, yeah.
especially Ekurhuleni, where we come from.
Yeah.
We have air pollution. The ambient air quality we are breathing is very bad.
Sure.
So they will represent those communities. It's an NGO, Yamaloy, attorneys. So they have a program called Rights and Remedies, just to educate you about the rights. As you're doing your activism
Yeah.
out of passion.
Sure.
When they give you the law, like you were speaking about the National Environmental Management Act 107,
Yeah.
correctly. So they will empower you with the skills to know, as you are championing this cause, these are the recourse. What is the recourse in simple language?
I-channel kwambanga.
Yeah, it's a recourse. So,
Umhlahlandlela.
yeah, so I'm a remedy.
Okay.
Whenever like there's this injustice that happen,
Sure.
this is the way you must go. So we learned that even the United Nations, they do come there.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They
They support it.
they
Yes.
support and they teach you about
Sure.
the chain mechanism.
And
The human rights chain mechanism to complain and where do you go, how do you go, who do you speak to,
Okay.
the right channels.
Sure.
But core to it, it's the apex document, the Constitution,
Sure.
the Bill of Rights. Yeah, that's where it starts. Very important. That's the first thing I think when
Yes,
you get there,
yes.
the tissue to say. This apex document is very important.
Yeah.
So nothing can supersede it. It starts there. So you must know, okay, if you're speaking about Section 24,
Right.
you know what I
Okay.
mean? That's
Okay.
the first step, and then from there, then you can go to the United Nations and take it
But
up and
firstly,
up and
you
up and
must
up.
learn from this constitution governing our country
Yes.
All of
For-
us, yeah,
before you can start going now into like international. Because a lot of
Yeah.
people, they think, Uti, when we're talking about this, we're going to start from like the international and then come down to like the local stuff.
meaning like MEMA bylaws and everything. Yes.
Meaning like you'll start maybe go COP,
yeah,
for example, right? And then once you start knowing things happening in COP, then that's when now you can take that information and then bring it to South Africa. But the way you're explaining it, it's like in South Africa, it's very important for you to like be aware with Section 24, right?
as an environmental.
as an
Activist,
as
yeah.
an environmental activist,
'Cause
it's
yeah.
very important for you to like know Section 24 before you can go there.
It's very key, and I'll tell you why. Because
Yeah.
as Wuti, for South Africa, we're very fortunate because we have access to information.
Yeah.
Wonke umuntu, I'm sure as Wuti Magati, am I right?
Yeah.
People do know. We say that a lot. This
Yeah.
is my right. I have
My
the
right.
right.
I have a
You
right to
understand?
this and a right to that.
Yeah. So now is to channel you to the discipline of to interpret the Constitution, especially the Bill of Rights. Section 2 of the Constitution is the Bill of
Yeah.
Rights. And then Section 24 speaks specifically
To the environment.
to the environment, if you're an environmental activist. But
Sure.
there's other sections,
sections.
human rights, life, and then which are very important. And also it speaks about, because it's all enshrined there, it speaks about our day-to-day, how the people who are executing the law,
Sure.
how you must relate to them, the police and everything, all these institutions who are meant to administrate the Constitution.
Yeah.
So
Can I
those are the
just,
things you learn.
just add
Sure.
with what Andile is saying? Also, they just propel you and empower you. Because remember, most of the us activists, we do protest. Most of the time. That's how our language
Yeah,
is. We
yeah,
protest in
yeah.
the streets. So they also teach you the right to protest and what are your limits. You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
So they channel you to be just not to be out of the law as well. So you must know how to protest.
Like how at some point I remember I come from equal education, and I was always like, I am fighting for equal education. I was like,
Yeah.
comrade. First thing, you're not fighting here, you're advocating.
Precisely, yes.
So it's things like that.
yes.
But as we're wrapping it up,
Yeah.
right? I'll ask each individual, okay, this time izokujumpa yabona soqala ngale. Yabona soqala ngale and then
Yeah.
sizogcina ngayo yabona.
Okay.
You're just going to nominate your community hero, right? I'll just push it a bit further and say within the environmental justice space, who is your community hero and why?
That's a trick question, and I'll tell you why. There's a lot of people who have who shaped my
Sure.
career so far,
Yeah.
and I call it a career because it's been consistent since even when I was in the banking sector. You fight these wars out of office hours. You still attend these meetings. So it's been a lot of people, strong women in leadership, especially.
Yeah.
There's a lot, and it's hard to pick one. But because I have to, I have to. What can I mention?
Just
Three.
one. Just one. One.
Was on Kwatele, bo mama yazi.
No, ungawari. I'll call you back. You'll be a resident here. Don't worry.
Ngicela ukumention okay, I'll mention one, but I'll give ngayenza first prize, second prize, third prize. Can I do that? Something new.
Yeah.
Against all
Okay,
odds.
sure. Against all odds.
Or ngapi number one bonke. Okay, I would say Umaina Funani, this lady who's championing environmental movement plus the disability movement. I've been mentored by her. She's visually impaired. Is one lady who's amazing. She's very strong. She's fought some very difficult battles.
Sure.
And Wang trust her to be next to her on her side. And Wang entrust her with big battles that I never thought I would fight and win.
Yeah.
So against all odds, it's one of the women, Mitimbo Water, And then the late, just telling Umam Magoma Likalaka, she's the chairperson,
From Life.
director of Life Africa.
Yeah.
She's one person who believed in me,
Sure.
believed in us, all of us, in Tembisa, to say, you know what, guys, you can do this. You know what I mean? And remember the support that she's given us. Just as a disclaimer, it has never been rands and cents. It's never been money.
Yeah.
It's like, I believe in you. These are the opportunities that are there for you. Go
Try
for them.
this.
Yeah, go for them.
Yeah.
And I'm behind you.
Have you seen this? Have you seen that?
I'm behind you. All the
Mention
way.
my name.
You see, she's always been that person.
Yeah.
And then an honorary position there in her and a woman is
Sure.
Sis Norma Koma. Sis Norma Lizo. She was from Life. She passed away last year. Feb.
R.I.P.
Yeah, she was also amazing. Yeah, well, she's someone who held my hand to say, you know what, let's go, let's do this, you know. And
Rebel.
yeah, you know what, one thing that I learned from her, and I'm from Tatiskat, was that she was saying, it's not, I did not give you the gift.
Sure.
It's not for me to give you the gift or take away your gift or control your gift. I can only support you. Only God gave you the gift. So she used to speak about purpose. And funny, she would say these things, not knowing she would pass away.
Yeah.
You know what? This is the only role I can play for you. I can support you. Ne? I can open the door and make sure on the other side there's the right people. Because sometimes the door gets opened, but you
on
find
the
the
other
wrong
side.
people on the other side, you know.
Ish.
Yeah, so she was that person who'd say, I'll open the door for you and make sure on the other side you find the right people so that you can also, your purpose is from God. It's not my purpose, right?
Yeah,
So that
yeah.
you can see it through. And then, yeah, again, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
but definitely.
on this camera, yeah. Shout out. She's also a hero, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Fistos.
Okay, hey, you've said a lot.
Aski.
Yeah, okay, I would say, firstly, the person that I will nominate as a hero for me, it will be, it's Majuta from Limpopo. Majuta is from Musina Makaro. They are fighting a biggest war there. The government wants to build some mines or something there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a Makaro economic zone. So it's from there, it's fighting those struggles there. And it's a person who used to be my roommate when I was at the camp at the School of Rights and Remedies.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so but now the reason why I say it's my hero is because of after the camp, after the school,
Sure.
he keeps on checking on me, and then his support to me is not just a rhetoric. He gives me, it's practical, he gives me stuff to read and apply things. I remember when I came back from R&R, they sent me a link to say, this is an organization that you need to work with. So I applied, the organization is called We Make Change South Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, I did that. They assist you in writing petitions. When I came back in Tembisa in particular, the municipality did not collect waste. In fact, the entire Tembisa, because of they could not pay the service providers or the delays. So Tembisa was becoming a dumping zone. So what I did, I joined that organization. They trained us for a week. Did petitions, they assisted me in doing petitions to compel the city of Ekurhuleni to pick up waste in Tembisa. As a result of that petition of mine, because my target was, I think, 2,000 signatures, I got 5,000. Submitted that petitions to, and then it was read in council. As a result, they suspended the MMC for waste environment through that petition because it was supported by Tembisa's councillors and other, just different political parties, but they were supported. So that MMC was suspended. Then, as a result, they appointed the new one, MMC. So, but I think this, just to cut the story short, it was a success to me to say Majuta is the one that assisted me to do things.
Well, is it safe to say this thing here?
Yeah, it's fine. It's really safe. It's safe. I
I'm for no kitchen for me.
Service delivery.
Sure.
Yeah, service delivery. So I'm saying Majuta became that person to me. Even now, he keeps on calling to the same time. Don't lose heart, fight. You understand? I'm in the space, but I need to fight social injustices. I'm leading the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anything that has to do with injustices for the people, I must fight it.
Yeah.
I'm an activist. You understand?
Can I add something, which is good news, is that
So now Yamaz,
in this space we work together.
it's very small.
Yeah. So they did a great job near SEZ, Musina Mokado Special Economic Zone.
Yes,
The fight they've been fighting.
yes.
So that the good news is that it was set aside, I think a month ago in Feb. So they've stopped that project.
Is it the very same project that Dalen Paul was talking about?
Yes. Musina Mokado Special Economic Zones, because they're busy. So yeah, but also disturbed by the indigenous people who live there. They're going to displace them. They have to move them to build. So yeah, so it was set aside by the United Nations. Because there were a lot of irregularities.
Irregularities.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's congratulations to Machuta.
Wow, nice, man.
Pateleni,
Yes.
Paper Park,
Paper
all
Park,
those
yes,
guys
yeah.
did a great job. Because we've been giving them support from this side.
Sure.
I've written a couple of articles on the
Yes.
MMSCZ as well. So yeah, big ups to them.
Oh, let me.
So
let
in
me,
Feb, yeah, it was set aside.
let me also just put it out there that the IroC podcast would like to give a huge shout out to everyone who's been part of this project. But then as we are closing it off, ladies and gentlemen, my name is IroC and thank you for being part of this conversation, and thanks to the two gents. Noma bana pick nyana because I thought Sfiso is gonna nominate you as a community hero because you introduced him to the environmental, and then you are going to nominate him because he's the one who called you about rights and remedies. But anyway, no problem. Ladies and gentlemen, here's one thing I would like to plug. For May, it's happening right here in Ubuntu Hub. The IroC podcast will be having its first live audience recording, and we'll just be talking about voter education and voter apathy. Just go on YouTube, subscribe, like, and share, comment. Go to Facebook. The poster will be up soon. Go on Facebook, and the details will be there. If you'd like to be part of this conversation, just reach out there, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Also, go on TikTok. It's the IroC podcast. The official hashtag for this podcast is #_against_all odds_. So that will be it from me to God's ears. I hope that everyone who's going to apply for the rights, the rights and remedies, to go to the center and go and learn. I just pray ukuthi ngazathi bangaba like nama million and just take 50 people from each province. Abathathe nje 50, and then we go there and we learn, we come back. I have this platform here, and we'll still continue to educate and inform. Yeah, just as I said, my name is IroC, and signing out. Peace.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.